Have you ever felt haunted by your past? Do the mistakes of the past linger like dark shadows, always haunting your mind? Is there a way to free yourself from those burdens? In this video, we will explore the profound philosophies of Buddhism regarding facing and overcoming past mistakes, and how to forgive ourselves for our own errors. Each of us has made mistakes and grappled with the past. But how can we confront and move beyond those mistakes? How can we learn and grow from the difficulties we've faced? Let's explore and understand the teachings of the Buddha so we can accept, let go, and move forward with greater peace. And I am Buddha teaching. Let's begin. Once upon a time, in a small village in India, there was a hard-working farmer named Kavi. Kavi lived with his wife and 3 children in a modest home. He worked on his fields from dawn until dusk, hoping that one day his hard work would bring prosperity to his family. One day, while Kavi was plowing the land, he accidentally knocked over the grain mill he had just bought to grind rice. The mill was severely damaged, and Kavi knew that he would have to spend a large amount of money to repair or replace it. He felt deep regret and guilt for his carelessness. The feelings of guilt and remorse tormented Kavi's mind. He couldn't stop thinking about his mistake and the difficulties it would bring to his family. With each passing day, his anxiety grew, leaving him exhausted and disheartened. One day, while sitting by the river to relax and seek peace, Kavi happened to meet a monk. The monk sat silently, eyes closed, appearing serene. Kavi decided to share his worries with the monk. "Master," Kavi began, "I made a big mistake by damaging the grain mill. I feel very guilty and don't know what to do. I worry that this mistake will cause many difficulties for my family." The monk opened his eyes and looked at Kavi with compassionate eyes. "Kavi, everyone makes mistakes, and each mistake carries valuable lessons. What matters is how we face and learn from them." Kavi nodded but still felt confused. "But I don't know how to overcome the feelings of guilt and fix my mistake." The monk smiled gently. "Look at the flowing water in front of you. The water does not stop because of the stones or sand in its path. It flows past them and continues on its journey. You too should accept your mistakes as part of the learning process. Once you recognize your mistakes, fix them and continue living." Kavi felt relieved by the monk's advice. He returned home with a calmer mind and began to plan the repairs for the grain mill. He sought help from people in the village and worked hard to rectify his mistake. He realized that not only was it important to fix his mistakes, but also to learn from them. However, in the following days, despite Kavi's efforts, he still felt a lingering anxiety. One morning, while working in the fields, Kavi encountered the monk again. He decided to share his thoughts further. "Master, I have done everything I can to correct my mistakes, but I still feel anxiety and guilt that won't leave me. What must I do to escape these feelings?" The monk looked at Kavi with understanding and said, "Kavi, feeling anxious and guilty is natural. However, don't let these emotions control your life. Examine these feelings closely and put them in their rightful place. Remember that forgiving yourself is an essential part of the healing process. Don't let the past continuously make you feel guilty. Learn from it, and then continue to move towards the future with a peaceful mindset." The monk continued, "You can practice mindfulness to help keep your mind calm. When you feel anxiety rising, take deep breaths and remind yourself that you are making efforts and learning from your mistakes. This will help you avoid getting stuck in guilt and allow you to continue to grow." Kavi listened and felt lighter. He practiced the monk's advice and gradually sensed peace in his mind. He began to focus on what he could do to improve the situation rather than worrying about what had happened. With patience and compassion, Kavi continued his work and noticed that his family also sensed the positive change in his mood. Not only did he repair the grain mill, but he also learned to accept and forgive himself, which helped him grow. Kavi's story became a valuable lesson in the village about facing mistakes, accepting and forgiving oneself, and continuing to live a meaningful life. Learning from mistakes and not allowing the past to dictate the present and future is an essential part of the growth and development process. One thing we all acknowledge is that forgiveness is often not easy. While it may sound simple to say, putting it into practice is a significant challenge. Forgiving the mistakes of others can often be much easier than forgiving ourselves for the errors we've made in the past. Many of us, if not most, worry about what has happened before, what we have said, how we have acted, and the choices we have made. We can easily become trapped in these mistakes and waste precious time that could be used to build a brighter future. I want to share with you how the Buddha advised monks when they made mistakes and how they received guidance to cope with them. The Buddha said, "The development in the practice of noble individuals is recognizing mistakes and addressing them properly while committing to restraint in the future." The Buddha taught that to understand and deal with past mistakes, the first step is to accept them and view them for what they truly are. This is practicing acceptance, a key element in the healing process. On the journey of being human, accepting mistakes is not an easy task. This is particularly challenging because the ego, a deep part of the mind, often makes us feel vulnerable when faced with our own imperfections. We are often haunted by the belief that we are always right and never make mistakes. But the truth is, we are all imperfect beings with flaws and impurities in our minds. This is what leads to the mistakes we make. A famous saying reminds us, as long as you make mistakes, you are human. This not only affirms that mistakes are an essential part of life, but also that they are part of human nature. Accept that the nature of our minds is to make wrong choices and imperfect actions. When you recognize this, it will be easier for you to accept your own mistakes without feeling self-loathing. Accepting these mistakes is not about justifying them, but about making them a part of the learning and growing process. Practicing acceptance not only helps you confront your errors calmly, but also nurtures a more generous and forgiving spirit toward yourself. The Buddha said to regard wrongdoings as wrong, to see mistakes as mistakes, and to accept that you have made them. The first step in dealing with a past mistake is to accept it. Once accepted, what should you do next? The Buddha said to disclose it to someone who can understand you and acknowledge your error. The approach is to find someone who can understand you, someone who can give you good advice and not judge you. Tell them that you made a mistake and that this mistake was yours. Why is it important to acknowledge mistakes? When you open your heart and admit your errors, you not only share what is deep within your mind with someone who can understand you, but you also gain many valuable benefits. One of the most important benefits is freeing your mind from burdens and inner criticism. After making a mistake, our minds often become harsh critics, continuously condemning and aching the soul. Admitting a mistake helps relieve these psychological pressures, opens your heart, and soothes the complaints in your heart. When you acknowledge your mistakes, you not only lighten your mental burden, but also create an opportunity to receive valuable advice from others, those who can help you see the issue more clearly. Sometimes, some problems are so complex or profound that we cannot resolve them on our own. You don't have to face all difficulties alone. Seeking help from others is not only a wise action, but also an important step in the process of self-development. Although asking for help can be a significant challenge, assistance from the right people can provide valuable solutions and support. The Buddha advised that you should not disclose your mistakes to everyone, but find at least one trustworthy person who can understand and not judge you for your errors. We can all find at least one such person, someone willing to listen and provide helpful advice. This way, admitting mistakes is not just a step towards self-understanding and growth, but also a way to build supportive and helpful relationships in life. There is something very precious about having noble friends around you. The Buddha taught that acknowledging mistakes and opening up to a wise person is the first step in facing your errors. Wise individuals can offer helpful advice and help you see the problem more clearly. After acknowledging your mistakes, the Buddha emphasized that the next step is to take the right actions to avoid repeating that mistake. This means you need to be more cautious and restrained in the future to avoid reoffending. That is why it is said that if you make the same mistake 100 times, it is a setback. If you make the same mistake 100 times, then there is no progress. But if you make 100 different mistakes, that is progress. We will experience thousands of mistakes in life, but each mistake contains a valuable lesson. The main issue is that we often think we should not make mistakes and wish to be perfect forever. But that is not the reality. Accepting and acknowledging mistakes, along with taking the right actions to avoid repeating them, is the way to face and grow from errors. Remember that as long as you are human, you will make mistakes. Accept that. Acknowledge your mistakes, and then take the right actions to avoid repeating them. In this way, you can learn from your mistakes and grow. Keep this in mind, and always remember that each mistake is an opportunity for growth. Through the above story, we can gain a clearer understanding of life. Life is not always rosy, and mistakes are an inseparable part of everyone's journey. What matters is how we confront and overcome those difficulties to become stronger. I would like to share with you 8 essential things we must know and overcome regarding our past mistakes. 1. Identify and accept mistakes. The first step is to recognize and accept that you have made a mistake. This can be the hardest step, as our ego and self-esteem often lead us to deny or refuse to acknowledge our errors. However, accepting mistakes is a crucial step in the process of forgiveness and healing. 2. Understand the nature of mistakes. Once you have identified the mistake, try to understand its causes and context. This is not to justify yourself, but to recognize the factors that led to the mistake. Understanding the causes helps you avoid repeating similar errors in the future. 3. Learn from mistakes. Every mistake can provide valuable lessons. Seek out the lessons from those experiences and apply them in your life. Learning from mistakes helps you grow and improve yourself. It turns mistakes into opportunities for your future. 4. Forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself is an important step in the healing process. This does not mean you overlook or deny your mistakes, but rather that you accept mistakes as part of the learning and growth process. Treat yourself with compassion and patience. 5. Transform negative emotions. Feelings of guilt and regret can make you feel trapped. Find ways to transform these negative emotions into motivation for change and growth. Practicing meditation, journaling, or talking with a trusted friend can help you release these feelings. 6. Set new goals. Setting new goals and creating positive habits can help you focus on the future rather than getting stuck in the past. New goals and plans redirect your focus and make your life more meaningful. 7. Seek support. Sometimes forgiving yourself can be difficult, and you may not be able to do it alone. Seek support from friends, family, or a counselor. Support from others can provide you with an objective perspective and encourage you to overcome difficulties. 8. Reflect carefully. Take time to carefully examine your mistakes and how you reacted to them. Self-reflection can help you understand yourself better and address your psychological issues, allowing you to develop new approaches in the future. So, are you ready to let go of the past and embrace a brighter future? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I am Buddha Teaching. See you on next video.